Willie Jackson and Bobby Horse there on the hit, but here they come and are able to succeed in a pretty long drive. The drive is aided by a couple of penalties, defensive holding penalties, one of which we thought was maybe not totally right.
Ellis Robinson had 78 yards on the day, 23 on this drive, and Rob Burns at 6'6", and Chris Ortiz, pretty good pass-catching combination.
They really have been very productive combination in really all three of their games up to this point.
They did a pretty good job on third down on this drive, too.
They converted when they needed to, and then when they got the ball in close, they were able to make a good play here. We have corner fall down, and they get it in the end zone.
Why do they move the ball so well on that drive, and really for the rest of the day, you guys pretty well clamped them down?
Well, I don't think that we started out defensively playing as physically and tackling as well as we did later in the football game. I think that's a big part. And the second thing is we had some new guys on the football field that hadn't been on the football field, one corner in particular, and it took a while for us as a team and for him as an individual to kind of settle in together and relax and get playing the way we can.
Let's pick up highlights from a little later on in the first quarter right now. Again, 7-0 in favor of Southern Connecticut. Field position would be a key as the game would move along. Here, Rob Gloss hitting Mike Phillips. Great juggling catch. Mike had 66 yards in receptions today.
Mike had a real good day, a real good ball. Robbie put it right where he needed to be.
And Russ Strohecker continues to be solid at middle linebacker with a big tackle there. And Jim Jaroszak, who's been a nickel and a strong safety, very sure tackler.
Yeah, and Jim is, having missed last year, every time he plays, he's playing a little better and becomes a bigger and bigger part of the picture.
The punt return game gave you good field position all game.
Across the board, the kick teams did, and here Mike is doing a real good job of picking his way through. We got a bunch of great blocks, and Mike's working on trying to beat the kicker down there.
And Rich Lemon would have a big day, 171 yards. It would be the 6th consecutive game that Lemon would be over 100, a new Bucknell record. Record stood for over 40 years.
And the line worked real hard, and sometimes we don't really highlight what we've gotten to take for granted, the fact that Rich is really working real hard and also making some very outstanding individual plays.
Gluss to Gentile. Mark would have a couple of catches. Gluss would be 8 of 13 on the day. And then Lemon's going to carry over from the 10.
This is just an outstanding effort. Everything except that ball coming out at the end.
But of course it was breaking the plane to the goal line first, so it's 7-6. Bucknell is down by 1, and then a blocked extra point, nearly run back for 2 points for Southern Connecticut.
Exactly. They get some penetration up the middle and get a hand on it, and we're fortunate Rob gets over there and makes the tackle.
I thought this may have been one of the key plays of the game. Robinson just loses the handle on the football, and you recover on their 6.
Right, exactly. Here they've now taken the ball, gotten a little position, moved it down into our end of the field, and fortunately we get it back there on turnover.
Mark Gentile was open down the hash mark all day.
We did have some opportunities to throw it to him. He missed one of them, but there's another real outstanding running through and around and getting a lot of extra yards on his own there.
We counted 7 missed tackles. The last guy, Miller, the defensive tackle, kind of just sat in Lemon's way, and he couldn't jump over him high enough to get by him. McHugh with a strong run, and then it's going to be Lemon's number again for the touchdown.
Exactly. Here he darts in between a couple of guys and gets it in the end zone.
Second touchdown of the game, that one going for 3 yards. Good block by McHugh on the corner, and you go for 2, and it was nearly caught between the legs by Ted Stover.
This is a juggling act. As I looked at the replay, I thought he actually had it, but the official said he didn't.
One of the guys you were talking about that was in his first start is Willie Jackson. A little nervous, I think, early in the game, but I thought really improved as the game went along.
Well, I think nervous is a very understated word, but he certainly did come along as the game went along.
And the Bison defense continuing to play well. Again, they go underneath, and Jim Jaroszak is there to make the tackle. And the score at the intermission is Bucknell 12, Southern Connecticut 7. This stage, still very much a football game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, we're doing the right things. We're not making big mistakes. We're playing hard, but we're playing against a team that has got the people to beat us. And I'm glad that this team was a good football team that really pushed us and made us do some things to kind of prove to ourselves that we can get over the hump and do what it takes to win.
More fun and more rewarding to win when you have to work for it?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, if we just roll, we're talking about a Division II football team, but one that has a lot of good people and is going to win a lot more as the year goes along. And the fact that we had to work for it, we had to bounce back defensively, we had to combine all three phases of the game is an important thing for us.
On our feature today, Mark Braver is going to visit with one of the leaders of Bucknell's special teams group, and that's senior John Caldwell.
Today we'll be taking a look at the first in a two-part series on knee injuries. I had a chance to speak with John Caldwell, defensive end and special teamer for the Bison, about what it's like to recover and come back from a serious knee injury.
October 9th, 1993, we were playing Hofstra in Hempstead, and we played on artificial turf, and I was going down on a punt, and I went to make a cut, and I just felt my leg give out, and the trainers told me that I tore my ACL.
John Caldwell very slow to get up right now, and looks like he may have hurt himself out there on the turf.
At first, I was very positive that I was going to come back. Then once the surgery happened and my leg felt the way it did, I was just like, I don't think I'll ever be able to come back from this. But Troy White, he did this. He's a really good friend of mine. He did this a year before. And I saw him, and he inspired me because I was like, if he could come back, I could come back.
Since his injury 1 year ago, Caldwell has worked with Bucknell trainers and strength coaches to rehabilitate his knee.
I've worked with Carmen Luzio and Julie Augustine, our trainers here at Bucknell, and they have helped me strengthen my knee. I've done a lot of weight work, and Coach Thurston did the running with me. Like, we did a lot of agility drills over the summer. I stayed up here for the summer and worked out with the team, and Coach Thurston put us through hard workouts.
I asked John how he felt Saturday morning returning to the field in front of the home crowd at Bucknell.
Coach came up to me before the game, and he goes, John, he's like, are you ready for this? And I was like, I said, as ready as I'm going to be. And the only thing I was nervous about, I figured that I was going to be too slow, and everybody else was going to be able to beat me down there. But when I came out on the field Saturday morning, and I started running around, I was like, wow. I was like, I felt really loose, and I felt ready to play a game. And came out, and I was ready to play. I planned my move in my head before they make the snap. And then when they snap the ball, I hopefully execute that and go down there and try and make a monster hit.
And John Caldwell will plow him. Did not call for the fair catch, and Mr. Special Teams for the Bison blazed the hit of the day on Hofstra.
After the hit, I was really excited, because to me, that was my first hit. That was my first hit since I've been back, and that just showed everybody. I had talked a lot of junk. I talked a lot of trash all in off season. I was like, even if I ever broke my leg, nobody could take my position, or nobody would be better than me, or whatever. So all the freshmen came in, and they were like, oh, JC talking this and JC's talking that. And I just wanted to prove to everybody that I still had what it takes to be out on the field. And that hit showed everybody. And when I stood up after that hit, and when I saw that he flew back the way he did when I hit him, I looked at the crowd, and everybody was standing up cheering. And the thing that popped into my mind was they're welcoming the hit man back.
Thanks, Mark. And John Caldwell, certainly one of the characters on the football team. He really gives the special teams personality.
There's no doubt about it. You know, John is a guy that just, of all the guys that I've ever coached, has got one of the best and most genuine spirits in the old sense of that word. And the enthusiasm he brings to the game is just characteristic of the seniors we have in this football team, and the kind of leadership that they're giving us.
And then as I was looking on Saturday, John didn't make too many hits on special teams, but he always seemed to be the first greeter there to get Bob Horst or Steve Nopum, whoever made the tackle.
Yeah, he's not only a striker, he's also enjoying other people getting some hits, and you know, that kind of enthusiasm is just, it catches on like wildfire.
Let's go now to third quarter action of Bucknell and Southern Connecticut, with the Bison leading the Owls by the score of 12-7. And Coach, when you talk about the third quarter, you have to talk about field position. You get the ball first, you don't score on your first drive, but you make enough to really swing the pendulum of field position.
Exactly. We get the ball down, and we get some good position, and we're able then to trade punts and exchange in such a way that we maintain that position.
Gluss goes to Phillips for 12, and Steve Nopum here will go down the middle for 16 more yards. Bison, though, couldn't get a first down, and Travis Kopp will come on, and he'll do a nice job of punting them in the hole.
We had 3 big plays in the punt game on both sides, and this is one of them here where we're able to punt them into the hole. John's down there, and Mike King is able to pick it up right there on the goal line.
And now, once you get them down on the goal line, you don't let them off.
That's another big factor, and here we're able to line up and keep them from making that first down.
They try to go long. Charles Crudup has the coverage on Chris Ortiz, and Biancamano will have to punt out from under the shadows of his own goalpost. And this wouldn't be one of Mike Phillips' longer returns, but he's going to get about 7 to 10 yards and really set you up with great field position.
Those 7 to 10 yards are very, very positive yards, return in and return out.
Rich Lemon goes around the right side for another 12 as the Bison are on the march. You now have a 4th and 1. Kind of in that, do you go for it, do you kick the field goal, and you decide to go for it with a big fullback?
Right, exactly. Here we gambled and went for the 4th down situation. We're able to, had confidence that we could get it.
And this is a play Rob Gluss said he knew he was open on because everybody else was covered on the option except him.
This is, Rob does a good job here of beating a guy and getting the ball up the 6, 7 yards into the end zone and getting the score.
Now you're up 11, 18 to 7. Do you feel pretty good at this stage?
Well, we're feeling better all the time, both because the defense has been pretty much in control, and now that, you know, with field position and with the offense coming along, we're starting to get the points on the board to put the game pretty much in our control.
Bison would do a good job as we look at further action in the 3rd quarter. The 2nd and 3rd quarters totally dominated by the Bison. As we move to highlights later on in the 3rd quarter, you get a kickoff here from Rich Miller, and you kick him down in the hole once again.
Get a good kickoff and good kickoff effort. That's Bob Horst had 3 first hits on kickoffs, and that's something that just doesn't happen very often for any one player.
I believe Southern Connecticut's first 3 drives in the second half all were 3 and out.
And they struggled here getting that first down here in the 3rd quarter, and this is our first real good pass rush of the game. They've been doing a pretty good job protecting.
And here Mike Phillips again with a great punt return, 29 yards. He averaged nearly 16 yards of punt return. Most times you see return men averaging about 3.
Exactly. There's a combination of things. Mike's working real good. He's getting some blocks, and he also had a good punter that was putting the ball down the field where we had an opportunity to return it.
And the Bison will strike quickly on this drive, only the 2nd play of the drive. Rob Gluss with a great fake, and Mike Phillips is wide open.
We got a little bust here, and they fight in the play action, and Mike's able to bring it into the end zone.
Defense continues to be up to the task in the 3rd quarter. Again, another 3 and out. Ed Jackson and Jeremy Patty in on that one. Bison will get the ball back on another punt, and this is a 1-play drive for a touchdown.
This is an outstanding run here. Rich makes the free safety miss and able to find the goal line.
And we've talked about the punts. We've talked about the punting, returning. We've also talked about the kick return. Before we get to that, we'll see Lemon from ground level, and when he shoots through those holes, it's very difficult for him to get stopped.
Exactly. His quickness there in making a move, and then when he gets out in the open field, he's able to take it the distance.
And here we'll take a look at another hit. Great tackle by Steve Noteboom. And we'll watch some Bison defensive plays as Bucknell has scored their 32 points for the afternoon. But Southern Connecticut really never threatened the rest of the game.
I think we're playing at an intensity level and just having some fun here defensively. And we have a lot of different players that have been able to get on the field now and come in and do some things. Charlie Crudup makes a nice interception there.
And we're going to see David Todd come up with an interception after Rob Bird, who makes a tackle here. I don't know how he could make a tackle with that arm wrap that he had around his head. Didn't have any fingers to grasp on.
Rob's going to write a book on linebacking with one hand after the season.
And David Todd gets the interception really to kind of clinch things at the end. The 2nd turnover that he has picked up this year, had a fumble recovery last week. 32-7, nice victory.
Right. It was a good effort. We had some fun. I think we proved to ourselves that we're a team that can become a very good football team. It's going to be a week-to-week deal, and, you know, we're looking forward to it.
How about the health of some people? Gary Petros, you held out of the game at center. Brian Gay came back from injury.
Yeah, Brian Gay came back and played, which is just a major story in itself. Has an ACL injury, played with a brace on his knee. Gary wasn't able to play, but is going to be returning this week and is feeling a lot better.
At the end of the ball game, we had a chance to visit with Brian Gay and Rob Gluss to get their thoughts on today's game. As we go to break, we'll hear what those guys have to say.
You guys were able to get some big holes for Rich Lemon, who rushed for 173 yards.
Yeah, Rich is a great back, and he's a lot of fun to block for. At the beginning of the week, we had a little trouble in practice. Southern Connecticut likes to stun a lot, and they like to do a lot of twisting with their linemen and moving them around. But as the week went on, we got a little more comfortable with their scheme, and we stepped it up to a level of play today that I think we're capable of doing every week. And if we continue to play like this, then there's no reason why we can't win the next 9 games and win the Patriot League. That's what we came here for. At the end of last season, we all said we were going to win. We were going to win a lot of football games here and be the best team this school has ever seen. And I don't see any reason why, if we play like we do today, that we can keep it up.
Oh, it's nice to get finally one. 4 years I've been here, finally I got one rushing touchdown. What it was option-based on the goal line all week. We've seen when we get inside the 10, they bring their corner off the corner really hard. So it happened if they were in clamp, which means all the backs have clamp except me. So I'm the only one that the defense isn't accounting for, and we ran the right play with an option base at him. Guy took Richie, and I just kind of walked in.
How about your ball fake you made on the Mike Phillips touchdown pass? It seemed to me that they totally bit everything into the line as Phillips was streaking down the right sideline.
Yeah, it was a nice play call. All week we had said, this team, they really play a lot of too deep, which is going to make that nice. We ran toss and toss, kept running toss all game, and then we just set that play up just for that one reason. When we came in, we knew that play was a touchdown, really.
This is the Bison Weekend Review. I'm John Terry. Bucknell's women's soccer team picked up a win and a tie this weekend. The Bison defeated Patriot League rival Holy Cross 2-0 on goals by freshman Susie Barrett and Lee Raymond. On Sunday, the Bison tied Fairfield 4-4, despite the fact that the Bison scored 3 goals in the last 18 minutes, setting a school record for the biggest comeback. Bucknell's women's tennis team is now 6-0 on the season after beating Patriot League teams Holy Cross and Colgate this weekend. The Bison beat Colgate 5-4 despite being down 3-1 after 4 games. Bucknell's men's soccer team fell to 2-2-1 after losing to Patriot League rival Holy Cross 2-0 on Sunday. Bucknell's volleyball team is now 8-4 after 3-game wins over Maryland Eastern Shore and Dartmouth. And Bucknell's cross-country teams were successful once again. For Bucknell Football 94, I'm John Terry.
There's a lot of speed and quickness sitting on the set right now, all sitting to my right. Mike Phillips, punt returner and wide receiver, and running back Richard Lemon. And Mike, we'll start the questioning with you. Saw some of your catches this year as a wide receiver. Maybe give us a scouting report of what kind of wide receiver you are.
I think I have good hands, run good patterns, good quickness. I don't know exactly. Just it's all coming together this year for me.
Saw a couple of catches. One, you made the juggling catch over the middle. Another one, you basically just caught in stride. What's the difference when you're running different kind of routes, over the middle or down the middle or down the sideline?
Well, down the sideline, in case on Saturday, I was just wide open. Safety slipped down, and Rob made a beautiful pass. Across the middle, I'm just trying to hold on to the ball. It could get hit real hard, so just trying to gain possession of the ball.
Rich, how about you? We're in your second year now with Bucknell. You're a sophomore, had a great season, rushed for 1,000 yards last year. How do you think you're better this year as a sophomore?
I worked very hard over the summer. I worked out with Coach Thurston for the entire summer, basically. And I matured a little more than I did last year. Last year I was just running around in circles, and this year I learned to read the defense on the run a little bit.
You picked up your 6th 100-yard game in a row, broke a record that Brad Myers set in 1951 and 52. What does that record mean to you?
Records don't really mean a lot to me. I just like to run the football. The big boys up front, and they do a lot for me, and it felt very good to have Steve McHugh back there with me. Other than the Hofstra game, I was by myself.
Let's take a look now, Mike, at a play that you ran back yesterday, one of the punt returns. We'll put it up on the screen right now and ask you to take a look at it. What is the key to making a punt return work?
Well, the first thing to do is I got to catch the ball up, and I had to go back and get the ball here. Brought it up the sideline to pick up a few good blocks there, and then can't really see from this angle, but great blocks, and then I broke up in the free. I was thinking touchdown, but the punter made a good stop on me, and I've been hearing it ever since from the rest of the guys.
Why do most punt returns only go for a couple of yards? I mean, why were you able to consistently break them for 15 to 25 yards?
Well, I think in addition, we were getting good punts from the punter. Got a chance to return, and we've been working hard all since preseason, first couple weeks of the season, where coach is really stressing special teams this year. We get a good return, and it's a lot easier for the offense, giving them more confidence to have a better field position.
Rich has had a lot of good runs in his career. Let's take a look now at the one that I thought was the best one on Saturday, that 7 guys had a chance to bring him down, and they didn't. Rich, how do you keep going?
This play right here is designed to go to the perimeter, although it looks prettier on paper. The big boys up front, they do a lot for me, And I had a feeling throughout the game that every time I touched the ball, I could score, although I came up short right there.
When you're looking and you're running through a crowd of defenders, are you always looking like which way you want to go? I mean, does a lot depend when you've gotten the ball already and you're just kind of picking your way through?
Somewhat, yeah, but I just like to run the ball and make the defense. I like to embarrass people. I feel that's my job. And with the help of the big boys up front, I think it's very easy.
Blocking is really a big factor, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I think any running back can do what I do with the blocking that I have.
Mike, as we finish up the interview, maybe give the viewers an idea of who you are, where you're from, maybe what you're majoring in, just a little bit more than we know. Mike Phillips has done a good job as a receiver and punt returner.
I'm from Pittsburgh. I went to Upper St. Clair High School. I was teammates with Mark Gentile, Andy Welty, and Mike Tomko, who's a freshman this year. I have 3 brothers, 2 sisters. I enjoy just hanging out with the guys, playing some golf. Majoring in economics. I'm a junior this year.
Well, great job on Saturday. We'll see you, I'm sure, later on in the season as well.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
Rich, how about you?
I'm from Warren, Ohio. I graduated from Niles McKinley High School about 10 minutes away. And I have 1 sister, 3 brothers, and I love my mother, and that's why I'm here today doing what I'm doing.
Well, Rich, keep it up. We want to see a lot more of those long runs throughout the season. Okay. Rich Lemon and Mike Phillips, our guest. Coach Lou Maranzano will return, and we'll talk about the Crimson of Harvard up next on the Bison schedule. But first, this timeout.
Since 1846, scholars have come together at Bucknell to ask questions and explore answers. Inspired by the fresh spirit of the newest students and the seasoned wisdom of the faculty, this meeting of minds fosters achievement. Bucknell professors enjoy national reputations, and Bucknell students are known for their intelligence. Their lively exchanges extend from classrooms and seminars to informal meetings in faculty offices and the campus snack bar. Bucknell is a comfortable place for the tradition of the classics and the demands of today's society. The arts, humanities, and sciences thrive alongside professional programs in engineering, education, management, and music. The environment for this growing diversity and the ongoing meeting of minds is a very beautiful campus in central Pennsylvania. Bucknell's stately buildings and beautiful trees and gardens provide an ideal collegiate setting. Bucknell, with 3,300 undergraduates and over 260 faculty members who sustain the spirit that is this university and who carry it with them throughout their lives.
At Bucknell University, we pride ourselves in doing intercollegiate athletics the right way. We're extraordinarily proud of our student athletes and their record of success in terms of Patriot League scholar athletes, academic All-Americans, and NCAA postgraduate scholarship winners. In addition, our graduation rate of student athletes has been #1 in the country over the past 3 years. The goal of the athletic program at Bucknell University is to provide a competitive Division I experience for over 750 athletes in 26 men's and women's varsity programs. In order for us to enjoy our current level of success, we need your help. You can support our student athletes by joining the Bison Club. I'm certain that the self-satisfaction that you gain from assisting student athletes to have a quality, competitive Division I experience will be well worth your while. On behalf of the student athletes at Bucknell University, thank you.
For more information, write to the Bison Club in care of Bucknell University or call 717-524-1358.
Thanks to Mike and Rich for being our guests. And, Coach, you've got a pretty explosive team with Lemon in the backfield and Mike Phillips returning punts and catching. Got some speed on this team this year.
I feel like we've got the best balance that we've had in a long time, just in terms of experience. But I think what your point is a real good one, in that we do have some speed and we've got some skill, and that can really makes it fun. It makes it lively, and it makes us able, as Rich said, to score in a lot of different situations.
Seems like that because you maybe have the ability to score quickly now, that if you are behind a touchdown late in the game, it'll make it a little bit easier to make a comeback.
There's no doubt that we can do that, both with running and with passing, and you know, we're playing a lot of good people. Every game's going to be a battle, and you know, we just believe that we're going to be there at the end all the time.
And speaking of a battle, Harvard will be the opponent. It'll be in Boston, and they're 1-0 with a last-second win against Columbia.
Exactly. They had a great battle this past week with Columbia and came back, won the football game. They're a team that's going to give us real good competition at the, you know, certainly at the skill level. They play real hard. They play real fundamental football, and we got to go on the road and take it to their house, which is always a big thing. So we've got our challenge cut out for us, and we're looking forward to the week.
They have a new coach in Tim Murphy coming over from Cincinnati, led them to an 8-3 season, best in 2 decades for the Bearcats. Much differences, him taking over for Restic?
Yeah, the old style of Harvard was, the multiflex, where people were running all over the field, and we've got a little bit more of what you'd call nuts and bolts football, where they're lining up and getting after it in a more standard way and trying to really be physical, and and they're doing a good job of it as well.
Well, a win for Bucknell against Harvard would really signal the start of a great season. The only other time Bucknell beat Harvard was 1964, 24-21, the second game of the season. Coach, that year, the Bison won the Lambert Cup.
Exactly. Somebody was telling me in the street today that he remembered 30 years ago he was working in Boston, and Bucknell team came up there and knocked off Harvard, and those are the thoughts that are in our mind, and we're really looking forward to the opportunity.
Well, hopefully the Bison can turn back the clock 30 years, 64-94, Bucknell at Harvard on Saturday. We hope you will be able to join us up there, and if not, tune in to Bucknell Football 94 to see all the highlights of the Harvard game next week. For Lou Maranzana, this is Bob Behler. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.